What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you guys a review of the Kith collaboration with New Balance on the 1700 in the Rococco Red Toronto Edition colorway. So I can't believe the day is actually here. Kith has finally opened their very first store north of the border, and I couldn't be happier because they opened up in my home city of Toronto. So the store officially opened on September 22nd, and to celebrate the occasion, Kith teamed up with New Balance to release two colorways of the 1700 silhouette. So there's this one, which is the Rococco Red colorway, and these were sold exclusively in store at Kith Toronto on September 22nd, but there's going to be a limited online release and on the Kith app. But aside from this colorway, they also are releasing a marshmallow colorway, which is done in more of a light gray tone, and that pair is going to be releasing on Monday both online, along with across all Kith stores around the world. So these released for a price of $180 US or $245 here in Canada. And the official style code for this shoe is CM1700KR. So of course, being that this celebrates Kith officially having a presence in Canada, that's why they opted for these Canadian flag colors with red and white. And alongside the shoes, they also dropped apparel as well, including the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. But one thing I want to point out to you guys before we actually get into the details of the shoe is that this shoe is actually manufactured in Vietnam instead of the USA, where all my other 1700s in my collection are made from. So I don't know why New Balance decided to manufacture this specific pair in Asia instead of US. I'm assuming maybe it's because of tighter deadlines, and I'm assuming that the Asian factories are probably able to pump out a lot more pairs of these than compared to the US counterparts. But that's totally an assumption, and I could be completely off base, but that's just my wild guess. And because this is a made in Asia release, it comes in that normal gray colored cardboard box with the New Balance logo on the top, and there's really nothing special about this box whatsoever. You're not going to find a single Kith logo on this box itself. So jumping right into the details, the majority of the upper, this is constructed out of this pig suede in this very bold red tone. Personally, I like this cut of suede. It's not overly long and shaggy, and it's not flat or short either. And right at the medial edge, we have this very small, very thin layer of reflective 3M, which is barely visible. And then surrounding the front toe cap, we have another overlay of this red suede. But another thing I noticed about this pair, especially when you compare it to my other 1700s in my collection, is the toe box on this pair is extremely bulky, and it doesn't have that nice tapered look that my other pairs have. So I don't know if this was just an issue from the factory or this was an intentional choice. I only own two pairs of 1700s, so my knowledge of the silhouette, to be honest, is fairly limited. So maybe the 1700s are meant to have more of a boxy toe box, maybe not. So for anyone that knows better, drop a comment down below. I'm very curious to know what the truth is behind this toe box. So anyways, moving on, so you can see on the side of the toe box, we have more overlays of suede, and the same suede covers the entire mid panel of the sneaker. And then embroidered in the middle, we have the New Balance N logo, which is done in a mix of white and red. Moving downwards, the top two eyelets are covered in this red colored plastic or TPU, and then we have this flat nubuck overlay covering the edges. And then right beneath this, we have another layer of this reflective silver 3M, and then wrapping around the top portion of the heel, we have more of that red colored suede that we saw earlier on the shoe. Surrounding the bottom of the heel, we have this very dark red colored suede, and here you can see we have 1700 branding debossed on the lateral side. We have this cutout in the middle, revealing a reflective 3M layer, and here we have Kith branding embroidered across in the center. And right above this, we have the New Balance word mark embroidered across in a slightly lighter shade of red. As far as the laces go, so these come with three different lace options. The standard default lace is a flat style lace in red, but they also give you a white colored flat lace and a cream colored flat lace if you want to give the shoe a little bit more pop and contrast. Underneath this, the bottom half of the tongue is covered in suede, and then the majority of the top half, this is covered in this red colored nubuck. And then embroidered across, we have New Balance and 1700 branding, which is done in this tonal red finish. The inner collar of the shoe is slightly padded, and it's covered in this red colored fabric. And then as far as the insoles go, so these come with your typical foam line insole. It's covered in red on the top as well, and we have New Balance Kith co-branding pressed onto the heel in white. So the upper of the New Balance 1700 sits atop this chunky foam midsole, which is painted in this cream color. Incorporated within this midsole, we do have Absorb technology, which is visible on this oval hit on the lateral forefoot, as well as wrapping around the heel of the sneaker as well. And then finally, turning this pair over to the bottom, this outsole is crafted using a mix of black and red colored rubber. We have these two horizontal slits on the forefoot to give you that added flexibility, and then running down the heel of the shoe, we have both the New Balance word mark and Absorb branding as well. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about sizing, so keep in mind this is a made in Asia pair, so it's not going to fit the same as the typical made in USA 1700s. So my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and I usually wear a 9.5 in those made in USA 1700s. So trying these on, these fit noticeably more snug than those ones. So that's why I feel like for the majority of people out there, going true to size for this version of the 1700 is probably the safer bet. When I tried these on true to size, there was about just over an index finger's width between the top of the shoe and the top of my toe, so it didn't feel snug, but there actually wasn't that much space in the toe box. But if you have more of a narrow foot and you like a really snug one-to-one fit, I feel like you could get away with your normal 1700 size, which for most people probably is a half size down. But if you're kind of on the fence, or if you have a really wide foot and you just like more of a spacious toe box, then I'd recommend you guys to just stick true to size. So to give you guys a point of comparison, I also go down to a 9.5, which is a half size down, in a lot of made in USA models like the 992, 993, and the 990 V3, V4, V5, and V6. And in comparison, I stick with a size 10 or true to size in other silhouettes like the 991, 1500, and a lot of made in Asia pairs like the 2002R, 1906R, and the 860 V2. Next up, in terms of the comfort, so overall I feel like the 1700 is a bit more of a firm and supportive feeling shoe. It's not one that has a very plush and soft feeling underfoot, so it's not going to feel anything like a 990 V6 for example, or a 9060. Those models I feel like are much more plush, whereas this one, it feels a lot more stable, it feels pretty firm underfoot, and while you can still feel a little bit of that foam, generally speaking, I feel like this midsole is not the most forgiving, which isn't bad for those that like more of a supportive shoe, but if you're buying this expecting a very plush and very pillowy feel, then you might be disappointed. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship on this shoe, so honestly, the material quality of the shoe, even though it's a made in Asia pair, I thought it was pretty decent. Like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of this suede. It really feels like a nice plush suede, and when you run your fingers across it, you can see a little bit of that color changing. So the materials I thought were solid, the overall construction and the build. Honestly, the only issue I had was this very bulky toe box. But again, I don't know if this was specifically by design or just the factory couldn't make more of a sleek looking toe box, and that's what they had to settle with. So I mean, the price point of the shoe is a little bit high considering it's a made in Asia pair, but the good thing is the material quality was solid, and my pair pretty much had no issues with glue stains, loose stitching, inconsistent panels, so the quality control, at least from that respect, was really good. So with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. Being real with you guys, I am completely 100% biased. Born and raised in Toronto, this is my home city, so I'm so proud, so excited, and so happy that there's finally a Kith store here in the city. So if you're asking for my opinion on this red 1700, there's definitely going to be some bias in my opinion. For me, I'm a proud Canadian, and I'm so happy to have a Kith collaboration that I can call my own. So in that respect, that's why I was so excited to add this pair to my collection. It just means so much from a keepsake standpoint. But if you're asking me for my true objective opinion, well, I thought the quality of the materials was solid, and I think the colorway of this shoe isn't going to be for everyone. It is a very red looking sneaker, which may or may not work for people's feet, depending on your style and your preferences. For me, I think I can definitely work this into my rotation, and I think swapping the laces to the white or cream pair will give the shoe just that added contrast that I think it needs. But like I said throughout this video, the toe box, it's just so bulky, and I'm just so not used to it, especially considering I wore my Kith 1700 colorist pair to the store opening party. So it's really such a stark contrast between the two. It's just one of those things I just have to mentally get over, because if you look at it just up close, it's just so apparent, and I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. So for anyone watching, if you have any insight, let me know down below. Is this just a case of this being made in Asia, or were the 1700s actually supposed to have this bulky toe box? I don't know, so leave your comments down below and let's talk about it. And as well, let me know what you think about this pair. Between this one and the marshmallow colorway, which of the two do you guys prefer? I think a lot of people like the marshmallow pair because it's probably the easier colorway to pull off. Whereas I feel like a lot of people locally, they feel a lot more pride towards this red pair because this one screams Canada a lot more. So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on my Instagram account at esco8. Follow me on Twitter as well at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully it helped you in some way in terms of sizing and just overall thoughts of this shoe. I appreciate the continued love and support, and I'll catch you guys all in my next video.